inside there.
But I guess when I go in,
I'm
yeah.
gonna share it from there.
We won't be long. Just a little quick convo. And hear what our community is saying about that. What do they have to say about this topic?
Are you live?
Why aren't, yes, I believe so. Why aren't Caribbean Canadian men dating online?
Yeah, so you know, it's one of those things, man, where the table was turned, and it was turning for a while. People just start realizing it now, where women are independent, but I believe that strongly independent are scaring off a lot of guys.
Okay, hold on. You're probably scaring women on this call right now because they have no idea what you're talking about and you're coming in full force.
I'm just talking, I'm just rumbling while I'm looking for this live.
Right? I just tagged you too, by the way.
I can't see it.
So let's give the background.
You tagged me?
I said we could start with a little background.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, I'm Camille. I'm joined by my family here, Oliver and Mark. We actually just got off a live not too long ago talking about a new Caribbean Canadian e-mall that we've started. You want to check out more information about that. But in the meantime, after we got off the live, we started talking about another event that we have coming up on July 12th, Caribbean Canadian Love Space, a virtual speed dating event. That's also on Facebook if you want to look at our events page at OURCHM. And then we just got to talking, just candid conversation about dating in the 21st century and how it's changed over time, and what's caused it to change. So I was just asking my family here to share their male perspective. I was giving them a minute to share their male perspective, and then I was going to hold it down for the women and come back with a rebuttal. So what Oliver was saying was, with the women's rights evolving over time, like with the women's votes and being able to go to post-secondary, they don't have to work at home in the kitchen. They can be career focused. They can move up the corporate ladder. They can start their own businesses. Like, they can literally do everything that a man can do. He's saying that has affected that has impacted the disconnect in the dating scene. Saying that, Oliver was saying that the men, I guess, haven't adjusted to how women have evolved. Is that what you were saying, Oliver?
Yes, correct.
They haven't adjusted to it.
Yeah, because what I was saying is they're still in that, because we just came, not just, but you know, we're in that era of, you know, women stays in the kitchen and deal with the kid, just pretty much stay at home and stay in their unique lanes. And men were raised, remember, we were raised a particular way, right? So now we grow up now, we're still in that mindset. So now when women now are, so many different movements happening, that causes a shift, which rightfully so. But I believe some men hasn't shifted yet. It hasn't evolved, right? Because now they try to find their place now. how they find their place now. They're probably, because you have to understand, men, you know, ego driven, right? And women typically, you know, emotional and, you know, just worry about shelter and the kids and stuff like that. And at the same time, they're still doing their thing, being leaders and all that stuff you know, in the workplace and community. A man is still the same, thinking the ego. So now when a woman comes on now and say, you know what, I'm independent, they don't have no idea what to do or say.
I think, and I might get blasted for this, but I think that for the most part, women are very critical of men and don't give men a chance. You know, from what I'm seeing anyway, you know, you know, just from our experiences from what's happening today, is that, you know, women have a lot of expectations in their mind of what they want their man to be. And there's no perfect person out there, right? I mean, you may get some, but you might not get all the qualities. But it seems like once you start going down that checklist and one of the X's are there on that list, then, oh, next, I can't be bothered, right? So I don't know. I just think that
I don't think you're gonna get blasted. I totally agree with you, right? I totally agree with you. And you know, to answer my point, right? Because and we opened this conversation. That's where we went live. We opened this conversation on that note to say, you know, because of now, what gave women now the courage and the confidence to quote unquote, you know, bash, or some men may call interrogate, or, you know, right off the bat when they meet a man, you know, they have to have a certain status, they have to have this, they have a whole long checklist. And of course, you have to know what you want in a relationship, what you want in a man, and all that stuff. But you have a longer checklist initially, instead of kind of understanding and knowing the person. So my question is, what give women that courage and confidence to say, you know what? And I'm not, I don't want to use the word bash, but straight off the bat, you don't fit my standards. And to be honest with you, and a lot of women are single because of that. I'm not saying go against your standards, but look somewhere else. Instead of you wanna meet a man at a bank, Camille, why don't you can meet a man at a grocery store.
I met my man at a grocery head office, so it happens.
There you go.
Right? But let me just we didn't put the disclaimer out before we even started, because we want to be clear. We're not here to bash men. We're not here to bash women. If you look behind us, it's called CaribbeanCanadian Love Space. Okay, we're looking to create a love space for our people. And that requires conversation, communication, looking for ways to understand the opposite sex, right? Talking in a respectful manner, sharing perspectives. Even if you don't agree with the perspective, you can allow it. And then when they're finished, you can share your perspective, which is what I'm going to do right now, because I just heard from Mark and Oliver. So, and by the way, we're encouraging gentlemen and women out there watching on the live to participate in the comments. Again, we're keeping it civil. We're actually keeping it loving. We're going above civil. We're keeping it loving. Okay, yes, of course, women have standards. So do men. Hello. Women and men both have standards, right? It's not just women.
Agreed.
I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is it's fear, right? It's women are afraid to put themselves out there to get hurt, right? And men are afraid now to take the independent women and get hurt. It's really just a fear of hurt at the end of the day in different forms, right? So I feel like back in the day, let's say 15 years ago, 20 years ago, people were more willing to be vulnerable. They were more willing to be vulnerable. But I think what happened is that with social media over the last 15 years, obviously like rocket ship to the moon. And what happened, a disconnect happened between people. People are not talking now. Like this on the DM me, slide in the DM, right? I even heard that now in the clubs or whatever, it's like a guy won't approach a girl just like that. It's like you have to get their handle on social media. Then in the club, instead of talking to the lady in the club, they're sending a DM inside the club, right? And if you pass if he's passed that step or that test, then you may or may not get the phone number or whatever, right? Whereas back in my day, not that long ago, right? But back in my day, the man never just approach you, right? So I think the social media definitely has a major, it's not just the women's evolution. It's not just that. Social media was even a bigger evolution.
That's a good point.
Bigger.
Yeah.
It's a revolution. People are not talking. They're hiding behind their phones. They're hiding behind their devices. And now when they're in a situation where they have to talk to somebody, they feel exposed, vulnerable, right? So that's, from my perspective, that's what I think is really going on here, right? So, but what is the answer? We're not doomed because marriages are still happening. People are still getting into relationships. Babies are still being born, right? So what is the answer? I'm putting that question out there to the two of you gentlemen. What's the answer? How do we cross that hurdle of men not adjusting to the evolved woman and the woman no longer willing to accept what they used to accept 20, 30 years ago?
I think there's got to be some give and take, some compromise, right? There's got to be, like I said, you know, no one is perfect on both sides. So, you know, you're not going to find the perfect man or the perfect woman out there. There's always going to be some kind of quirkiness to that person that you're engaging with. So before just saying, hey, you know what? No, I'm not going to take this and move on to the or next, you know, as some other shows I have it on there where they say next, right? It's I think it's something that we need to give yourself a time frame, maybe a month, 2 months. I don't know what the length of time is, but actually get to know the person before you just write them off.
I don't even know what the answer is, to be honest with you, because yes, social media evolved 15 years. It's been 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, right? We should be evolving. And yes, we evolve. And I know you described, and that's part of the problem where, you know, we'll rather text in the club than approach somebody because it's probably easier now on both sides because of fear, right? You know, you getting rejection on social media is totally different from rejection in person. So you can deal with that. That's just a couple of texts. You can deal with that, no problem. But it's just interesting how, you know, I'm just still shocked actually that there's just it's one-sided where and nothing wrong with women just being themselves and changing narratives and just doing their thing and out there. look on our space, our love space. We have like more than 10 times women than men joining our love space.
That I don't understand. Are there no men out there that are looking for a woman?
There are men out there looking for women. Of course they are. But at the same time, it could be they're not used to the online dating. I'm not sure if Caribbean men are used to online dating. I'm not sure.
Okay,
But
well, let me explain how this is going to work on July 12th for those who don't have experience with speed dating. So what's going to happen is right now we have a waiting list on Eventbrite for women, Caribbean Canadian women and men, okay, professionals only, ages 25 to 55. So once we get an equal amount of women and men who sign up on Eventbrite on the waiting list, from there they'll be sent the ticket price, which is going to range between $20 and $30 for this event, July 12th, Monday, 8 to 9 p.m. Or it's 8 to 10, I can't remember. 8 to 9:30 maybe. But yeah, so right now it's just a waiting list. There's no money right now for you to sign up. It's not costing you anything to sign up, but you have a lot to gain, right? You may find your wifey, you might find your potential mate. So sign up. That's the first thing. The men, we need you to sign up for this event. Once we have equal amount, July 12th, we're going to have a private Zoom meeting. It's not going to be live streamed. It's not going to be published after the fact. It's just for that one day, July 12th. They're
So
going to be breakout.
wait. You're telling me I pay $30 and I find my wifey?
Exactly, right? That's a bargain.
What?
Right?
Cheap, man.
It costs you more to go buy a new outfit, pay to go to the dance, you have to buy a couple of drinks.
all you
Costs
do
you
is
more to do
just
that.
put the top up. You're good.
Right. You just have to get a nice shirt. That's it.
Listen, because I want to remove any anxiety that any women or men have out there with regards to this, because this is where we are, right? It's a pandemic. We can't be mixing and mingling how we were before. We're going to have to embrace this new era that we're in and look for ways to get around it and still find love and happiness and relationships and that kind of stuff, right? So private breakout rooms, you have about 5 to 7 minutes, one man, one woman in each of the breakout rooms. After 7 minutes, you will switch and you'll be in a room with another person in that room for another 5 to 7 minutes. In the meantime, you're keeping track of who you're interested in, right? Based on the conversation that you have in this 5 to 7 minutes. Now, keep in mind that before we even start the breakout room, we're going to have a couple icebreakers where all the candidates are in the main room with the host. Icebreakers, music, little intros perhaps. Then we go to the breakout rooms. At the end, after you've met everybody from the opposite sex, we're coming back to the main room again. You're going to email us who you want to meet or who you want to continue getting to know after the speed dating. We're comparing the feedback that we're getting. When we find mutual interest between two people, we're going to connect those two people, and it's their responsibility to continue the conversation on their own time. And hopefully magic happens. And it may happen, it may not happen. And this is one of many that we plan to have moving forward, this love space for our people's depth. Now, the other thing I wanted to say about rejection and fear of being hurt. Now, I have been hurt, okay? I'm going to testify here. I'm going to testify. I got it, listen. Because the women think they're out there on an island by themselves, eh? They don't realize people have been there, done that, right? So I'm just gonna tell you that I can testify, yes, I have been in a relationship with somebody and it didn't work out, or they took advantage, or they're disrespectful, whatever, and I end up getting hurt, all right? I can promise you, because it happened to me, that you will be okay after you get hurt. You will actually recover. So all this, what you're trying to avoid, it's what you're doing is you're blocking your blessings. All right, you're blocking your blessings. But while you're trying to avoid the hurt, at the same time, you don't know who's out to hurt you, who's not out to hurt you. One of them is going to be your partner. And all you're doing is blocking everybody, right? I'm telling you right now, because for the ladies out there, just like how you're independent, like how you could do everything on your own, you broke the glass ceiling, you're doing everything for yourself, you can also get over hurt by yourself. You can get over it. And for the mandem, and I'm sure the mandem can tell you, the mandem on the call right now, they have been rejected maybe once or twice, not more than a handful of times, I'm sure. Not more than a handful.
Don't know what you're talking about.
And guess what? They're okay, gentlemen. It's okay to be rejected by a female. You will be okay. If anything, it will help you tighten your game for the next one. Okay? What didn't work on this one? Tighten it up. Come back stronger for the next one. I'm just keeping it real.
So I have two questions for you.
Yeah.
How many times have you been hurt before? Do you remember?
I can, a handful of times.
Listening.
If that many.
No, just so you know, I've been hurt many times.
If
right?
that many. I didn't really count. I'm not keeping track,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I'm just saying
Many times.
that I didn't, get it right the first time. I know that for a fact. I didn't get it right the first time. Are you kidding me? Nobody does. That not just relationships, with anything you do in life, you don't get it right the first time.
Correct. And I know most men should think this way, or some men think this way, where it's one, it's a numbers game. Number two, it's a process of elimination. So
okay, stop right there.
Yeah.
Because when we met up on Zoom last Sunday, somebody didn't like that example, numbers game. One of the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She said
Which
something
one?
to the effect that like she doesn't like that idea of it being a game, and that men are looking at this like it's a game. Right?
Okay, so let me clarify.
Yeah,
let me clarify. So when I say it's a game, not like a game, but it's when I say there's something in the sales industry, they call it a numbers game, where what's the other word for it? There's another word for it, but it's all about ratio. Yes, ratio. That's what I mean by numbers game. It's a ratio. So if you talk to 10 females and you eventually, now here's where I'm talking about now. Eventually now you figure out, do I need to talk to 10 females if I go to a setting to get one number? Or I need to talk to 12 to get one number. After a while, your personality, you'll figure out your consistent ratio. So that's what I mean by it's a numbers game. So if you go to a fete, or you go to a club, and your number is 12, now you start going through the process of elimination. That's what I mean by it's a numbers game. So I just want to clear that. I didn't realize somebody took offended last time. I didn't realize that. Yeah, so that's what I meant by it's a numbers game. It's a ratio. It's a ratio.
Yeah. And I agree with you. And I think as well, when you look at it, it's almost the same in any sport. You could compare it to so many different things. Sales, if you don't try, you don't shoot, you never score, right? Like you have to put yourself out there, be vulnerable, like Camille said, and make that effort, right? Just as awkward as you may feel, the person that you're talking to may feel just as awkward, right? But it's something that you just got to get out there, and then the more you talk to people and talk to the your opposite sex or same sex, if that's what you're interested in, there you feel more comfortable over time. So I think that you got to get out there, have those conversations, see if it's a match or not.
We have to get outside of our comfort zone too.
Yeah, and I got one question, and this might be a little controversial again, right? But when you're looking at it, I've heard this on watching things online, and just talking to people. But when the question is asked, what are you looking for? It's somebody on my level.
Oh.
Is that important? Like, does somebody have to be on your level? Like, what if they're not, but they're a good person and you're attracted to them? Is that an issue?
Is that directed to the women? Are you asking that question of the
Yeah, I
women?
am, because I think that probably the ratio it's a little bit unbalanced right now, where more women in the Caribbean or Caribbean Canadians are, I would say, probably more at a professional. There might be a little bit of an unbalance between careers and
How do you see
our
that
people.
comment?
What do you mean?
How do you interpret that comment, Mark? You have to be at my level.
How do I interpret it? I don't know if I understand what you're asking me, but when I look at
When a
that,
woman say you have to be at my level, like, what does that really mean? I'm asking, what does that really mean?
oh yeah, well, meaning career wise and financially, I think there are women out there who are looking for somebody who's making as much or more than them. They don't want somebody who's making less or doesn't have what they have. Right?
Oh, is that the reason why the quote unquote a lot of questions?
Yeah.
So
Because
again, I think it goes back to how the woman has evolved, right? Where, they were seen as primarily the nurturers. And so if a man is not on her level, like he's unemployed or he's not making as much, it puts her in a predicament now to take care of him. Like, that's the mindset that they're coming with. I'm going to have to take care of this man, and it's going to slow me down from what I'm doing, from the path that I'm on, right? So I think that's what it is. It's not wanting to go back to that nurturer, old school role. I think. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm thinking.
so let me ask, you found the man of, or sorry, Cam, you found the man of your dreams as a single woman. And, this man of your dreams has everything, but is not making as much as you, and maybe it's at a lower position in financially.
Then that woman would say, again, I can't speak for all, but I think some women would say, he's not the man of my dreams.
What would you
I hear
say?
you.
Meeting that requirement, then
Right.
he's not the man of my
What
dreams.
if everything is there except that?
But man of your dreams means you're meeting all the
Okay.
requirements,
So
right?
knowing that 9 out of 10, 90% of the qualities are there, 98%, 99%.
Again, I can't speak for all women, right? And I think that they'd have more leeway with other characteristics, but I think with regards to like independence, I think that's a big one for women. They want the man to be independent of them. They don't want this man depending on them. That's the fear. Any other thing they might be willing to look past.
But the man's living, right? He's living. He's taking care of himself.
Well, that's the fear.
Right.
Eventually, this man will start leaving.
Yeah, because it's a fear.
I'm sitting on her couch.
Yeah.
Right.
Playing video games.
I'm playing video games.
That was my second. That was my second question.
It's a fear.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's right, but that is the fear that goes on for some women, not all.
Because a man could be going through a tough transition at that time. And
that lady might say, check me when you come through on the other side.
Correct. So this instant fear blocks everything.
Listen, the
Blocking
men
your
have
blessings.
standards too, eh?
Blocking your blessings.
Men
Yep.
have standards too,
Right.
and they block blessings too, based on certain things too, right? So it goes both ways. It's really just taking a risk, going out on a limb. You have a little nice casual conversation with somebody, you're attracted to that person, you owe it to yourself to explore it. Forget about everything else. Stop worrying about this, that, and the other. Live in the moment. Live in the present instead of worrying about the future. That's, as Oliver always says, that stuff causes anxiety, right? Try to, when you see yourself doing that, I'm talking to men and women right now. Oh, I can't approach her. She looks like she's out of my league and she might diss me if I say something to her. Like, all of that is, you're talking about things that haven't happened yet. And while you're
Yes.
doing that, you're talking yourself out. You're blocking your blessings.
And most of the time, it's not even what you're thinking.
Right. You are telling yourself something, meanwhile you haven't even approached the girl yet.
Limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Limiting yourself.
So just take the chance. You're going to be okay, whether it happens for you or not, whether it's a spark or a connection or not. You're going to be okay. And you're one step closer to finding who you're supposed to be with. That goes for men and women. Take the rejection, get up, continue forward, right? For the ladies down, take the hurt, get up, continue forward. And at some point, you're getting closer and closer, right, to who you're supposed to be with. Now, one thing I do want to say about this love space on July 12th, we're not creating a space here where people are going to be disrespectful or mean, right? I think that's the other fear too, why men are not signing up for this thing. They think that maybe this face-to-face on Zoom, the lady's not feeling him and they're going to say something mean, right? A certain way or reject him just point blank. So we're going to have rules at the beginning for both, for everybody on the call, not just the women, but for the men too. You can stick it out for 7 minutes. If you're not interested in the person, you can sit there and have a civil conversation for 5 to 7 minutes until you swipe to the next person, right? So we're not creating that type of a negative space. We're really trying to change the narrative in our community and create a safe, respectful, loving space for, you might come out with a good friend. It might not be a love connection. It might just, you might end up with a good friend on the other side.
I have a lot of friends
Right.
like that. Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah. But
So hold on a
speaking of
minute.
that though, quick question. What if a man is signing up and he wants to know what all the girls, all the females look like? Oh yeah, he's coming to space because he has that fear. He wants to make sure
Well,
somebody's there for him,
come
and he
on,
wants
guys,
to know what they
guys,
look
come
like.
on. We're not objects, guys. We're not merchandise.
A woman could have the same question.
Yeah, but listen, here's what I forgot to mention. When we have equal number or close to equal number of women and men signing up for this thing on July 12th, you'll be sent a form to fill out a profile, right? It'll ask you certain questions in advance. Maybe you can upload a picture or what have you, and that will circulate for all the participants. All the participants will see this one spreadsheet with all the different people signing
Yeah,
up.
that's why I asked. Yeah.
Yes, good question. Yeah. But again, that could be next thing they don't like what they see. Because sometimes pictures, we don't look good in pictures, but you see them on person, they look, you see them in person, they look different, right? So you still don't want to judge based on what they put on the profile. You don't. That once again, you're talking yourself out of, you're blocking your blessings by doing that. The only point of that profile spreadsheet is to give you some conversation starters. So when you come out, you can look at the profile and say, oh, I noticed that you work in so-and-so field, right? And it can help you with starting a conversation for that 5 to 7 minutes, but not to stop you from coming out.
Question for you, Mark. When you were dating before you met Camille, did you have a certain person in mind that you want to talk to?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
The reason why I'm asking that,
Whoa, whoa.
the reason why I asked that, because for me, before I met Lisa, my wife, for those who don't know, happily married. And she
No, stop. I'm gonna block you right here, Oliver. I'm gonna block you. All I'm going to say to the viewers is come with an open mind. They don't need to hear our stories. Okay? We can all say that we had open minds, right?
Yeah,
we can all say that.
that's my point. Yeah, that's my point I was
Yes,
going to make.
come with an open mind.
Come with an open mind and don't stay in your comfort zone, because if you're thinking of one particular person, then why push yourself in that hole where, you know, you could be happy, it doesn't really matter. So you have to have an open mind.
Don't block your blessings.
Correct.
Right. So there may be people who joined late and have no clue what we're talking about. So maybe you want to give a little explanation about what's happening, Camille. What's happening?
Go ahead, Mark.
No, you go ahead. You're doing well.
All right, so I'm circling back. So July 12th, we're having a Caribbean Canadian virtual speed dating event online. We're just kind of talking ahead of that event. We had our first discussion on Sunday, last Sunday on IG Live. Just trying to create some dialogue in our Caribbean Canadian community about love and relationships and trials and tribulations in this pandemic era. And how do we overcome it? Because there's an answer, there's always a solution to every problem, right? We're not doomed because we can't be in person like we used to. There are ways to work around it. We just have to be creative. So we have this event. It's the first time we're having it. It's being hosted by the Caribbean Canadian Chamber of Commerce and Community. We're looking for Caribbean Canadian professionals, ages 25 to 55. Right now, we're focusing on those people who are interested in monogamous heterosexual relationships on July 12th. Moving forward, we'll look to have different events catering to different orientations, but right now it's heterosexual monogamous, long-term relationships or marriage. And we'll have a host at the beginning, and then the participants will break out into couples, into the breakout rooms on Zoom. It will not be live streamed. It will not be recorded. It will not be published online. It's a private event only for those people who registered. They'll be given a document in advance to know who's registered, so that when you're in the breakout room, you have conversation starters, because you would have like a little bio or like a little profile on each person. You're in there for 5 to 7 minutes. After that time, you're automatically switched into another room with another person, and you're going through the whole thing over again for 5 to 7 minutes. You're also keeping track of the people that you feel you have a connection with, right? Or the people that you want to talk to after the speed dating. You're keeping track. At the end, after you've spoken to everybody in the different breakout rooms, we're coming back to the main room with the host. We're going to close off the event. You're going to share with the host those people that you're interested in. The host will then cross-reference to see if there's a mutual interest. It has to be both ways, otherwise it's not going to happen. Mutual interest, and then we reach out to you after the fact and give you each other's contact information, and the ball's in your court. We leave it up to your capable hands to follow up with that person and see how, see if there's a connection there, whether it's friendship or otherwise.
And why are we doing this?
What?
What
I'm
was
going to
that?
pass the floor to the gentleman, the two other board directors
What did Mark say? I
at
didn't.
C5. Why are we having this event?
Oh,
What's the bigger goal here?
connect our people, man. To connect our people. We care about our culture. We care about our people. And like Camille said, it's a tough, uncertain times right now. Even things are open back up, people still not gonna really feel comfortable going to clubs and mingle and interact as they were like before. And how great would it be to kind of meet somebody face to face? You talk to them, you understand them, you have a quick relationship with them, and then you can carry that on at a coffee shop or somewhere else. So you don't have to worry about, all that other fear factor that you had before, right? This online thing, I believe, will just eliminate a few fear factors.
Yeah, we're specifically targeting Caribbean Canadian singles, and that's to try to help, better our community, get our community together, find people who have common interests, common backgrounds, can relate to each other, and trying to build that bond, right? And as a part of our organization, you know, we want to build a thriving Caribbean Canadian community. So part of what we're doing here, it's not a money thing. I mean, we're not looking to try to profit off of putting people together. We're more trying to build the community and build our organization as well. So we're looking for members to join and you know, contribute to what we are doing as well, which is a totally different topic. But we are looking to put, you know, Caribbean Canadian people together to build a future together as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mark. Caribbean Canadian Chamber of Commerce and Community, we're not in the business of having speed dating events. Like, this is not what we normally do. It's actually the first time we're doing this. And it's actually, the reason why we're having this is based on conversations we've been having with community members. We're just taking it upon ourselves. Right now, these are 3 of the 4 directors at the Chamber. And we just took it upon ourselves to put together an event for our community. We have other things going on. You can check out our website, ourchm.ca. But this is the first speed dating event. So we want to, and you know what, I would even venture to say, Oliver, not only is it easier, the speed dating versus like meeting in person, but I think it's even better than like text and DM. Because you know, people misunderstand a text, right? They misunderstand a DM.
Correct.
But this is actually video conference. Like, you're actually seeing the person, you're talking to them, right? Without that fear of being in person, and right, whatever anxieties you have about being in person. So we ask you to come dressed to impress. There's a whole bunch of rules that we have too. I'm telling you, because we're trying to make this a very safe, respectful, loving environment for our community to connect. So there's certain rules that all the participants have to follow. You're dressed to impress. You're in a well-lit room. We don't want dark rooms. You'll be sorry, right? Come back when you're ready. You know, we don't want noise in the background, or like people in the background watching to see what's going on. You have to be in a private room to talk to this person on the other end. And some other things on there if you look on the Eventbrite invitation. But yeah, so guys, we're trying to help. You know, we're trying to help, and you know, we're gonna have a feedback form as well at the end, because we hope that this is a success and we can continue making connections, love connections in our community. So we need to hear from the participants, right? So right now, like I said, we're really encouraging Caribbean Canadian men to sign up, ages 25 to 55, or sorry, you don't have to be 25 to 55. Who you're interested in has to be 25 to 55. So if you're a Caribbean Canadian man and if you're interested in any of those 3 age groups, 25 to 35, 35 to 45, 45 to 55, or all 3, you can check box it on the Eventbrite registration. You check off which age range, and that's who we're looking for. It's nothing to do with your age. It's who you want, how old you want your partner to be. That's what's on the form. Because I think there was a misunderstanding last week about that. So I just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
So please, if we don't have the men signing up, unfortunately, we're going to have to push back the date, because we can't have a bunch of ladies hanging out on a speed dating with nobody to talk to, right? And we can't just have one man on there bouncing around to all the ladies, because that doesn't make sense either. So we actually have to have almost an equal amount. So we're looking for probably about, I would say, to start, about 12 men to sign up ASAP. And right now it doesn't cost, it's free. It's a waiting list. Once we get the amount of people that we need, then you'll get an email saying, okay, well, now you can purchase your ticket. And the ticket will be, like I said, between $20 and $30, no more than that.
Yep.
Right?
Everyone's thoughts. If you're watching this on a replay, let us hear your thoughts.
Yes.
Get in on a conversation. Share this to other people that you think this might be useful for, or they're looking for a partner, they're looking for a potential wife or husband.
Exactly.
Right?
And you got to think, right? You got to think about it too. And people who are signed up for this are serious, right? So you're seriously looking for someone, then there's going to be someone on the other end who's seriously looking for someone as well. So,
Yeah, we're getting like-minded people in
right.
the same space. Yeah. And I don't want to, it's going to be fun, right? We're going to do our best. The hosts are going to do their best to make sure that, you know, you're calm and you're ready to go and you're having a good time, right? Before and after when we come back into the main room. So all we're asking on your end is to just take the leap, right? Take a chance, and you may come out, like I said, with at the very minimum, a new friend, right? Or even the hosts, even if you don't, even if it's none of the participants, you have hosts that are, you have new friends in the hosts, right? So you don't, it's a win-win. Everybody wins on July 12th. So this was a great convo, I think, and it's the second of, I think, a few more to come leading up to July 12th. Best thing to do is follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram, it's OURCCC, and on Facebook, it's OURCHM. Follow us on those platforms, and then you'll know when the next time we're going live. And sometimes we'll be bringing on different people. We're even encouraging the people who have already registered for July 12th. We're encouraging them to come on as well. So you may even see some of the ladies and the gents ahead of time coming on here and participating in the conversation. Any last words, gentlemen?
I'm just updating the chat because we have no one engaging in the chat. A few people was watching it, but no one engaged yet. But people's gonna engage on the replay, so we're looking for that. Feedback for me is, like I said before, just keep sharing this and sign up. All of the mandem. We need more mandem. Sign up, because we have quite a few emails that are in the waiting list. So all of them sign up. What are you saying, no Cam?
The ladies are putting themselves out there. They've already signed up. Meet them. You got to meet them halfway, guys. We're finding them for you.
And they're excited.
Right? Yes. You got to meet them halfway. Register.
Get yourself a live blanket.
Shaba.
Right? You know? Oh. Wouldn't that be better than sitting at home by yourself in the pandemic? Have somebody you can hug up.
Or not only that, hunting by yourself, right? We're helping you.
We're doing the work.
We're helping you doing the work.
That's what I'm saying. Come on, guys.
Man, I wish this was around when I was in my days.
Yo, I was saying the same thing. These times for
looking out for my interests. Wow.
Right? We're counting on you guys, man. Come through. Come through. When you say you can't find a good woman, we already found a whole heap of them. They're waiting. They're in the queue.
Right? They're in the queue. They're in the queue. Wow.
Right?
Convo. Very good convo. Love
Very good convo.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for participating.
You are welcome.
Thank you for sharing, having an open, candid conversation and sharing the male perspective and respecting my perspective in return. And that's what it's all about, right? So let's stick together. We'll hang on. We'll stay optimistic. We'll live in the present moment. And we will put out the energy that we want coming back at us. And the rest, the universe will take care of.
Yes.
Right? On that note, have a good night, everybody. See you again soon.
All right. Thank you.